Hello, welcome to Tech Takeaways, the podcast taking technology's largest challenges and chopping them down into little bite-sized chunks for you to enjoy. So I'm joined on the sofa with my dynamic co-host, Paul Stringfellow. I am, as ever, Jason Fitzgerald. And this week we say welcome back to Anthony Taylor and Nathan Miller from Bytes. Welcome back.
Thanks for having us again.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be back. So
we couldn't get you out of that seat, so that's why you're back.
We must have done a good job on the first one.
Yeah,
I'm wearing the same clothes. Sorry about that.
Well, nobody was going to mention that. I mean, I know it's been 3 weeks since we did the last one, but anyway,
it's fine. It's all good.
Good stuff.
It's all good. So I suppose this week, we've invited you back to be able to discuss a little bit more about kind of the Microsoft Cloud. The way that people are using Azure for their workloads more and more. And I suppose probably an interesting topic that myself and Paul were talking about was this kind of the change in the way that companies are procuring software, in particular cloud services. And we wanted to get your expert knowledge as Microsoft professionals on what do you see with that? What do you see in that change? Do you see a change for starters?
Oh, massively.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a huge shift to online marketplaces to procure SaaS solutions pretty much. I think Gartner has said by 2025, $50 billion worth of transactions of SaaS applications will be through marketplaces.
Something like 1/3 as well.
Yeah.
1/3 of all orders will be going by that method.
Okay. And when we're talking marketplaces, we're not talking like Amazon online shop, are we? We're talking like you go to Azure, there's a little search bar along the top, and you can type in pretty much what it is that you're looking for, isn't there?
That's right.
And get it.
So any SaaS application which is hosted on Azure is available. I'm not saying they're all available, but they have to be in the Azure Marketplace. And the number is growing day by day massively. But in its purest form, that the Azure Marketplace, it kind of depends who you're talking to. If you're an ISV with your own IP, it's something which massively accelerates your time to value of your application, as well as opening, I think it's 54 tax-covered regions within the world that they can just sell straight into.
Yeah.
If you're a buyer, it's just streamlining procurement massively. So you think about all those, any enterprise organisation or even smaller now, we're buying a lot of SaaS applications, and there's teams in these organisations which, they're doing the research, they're vetting these companies, going through legal teams, different for each vendor. With the Azure Marketplace, you've got pre-built agreements, pre-built demos, it's all built in there. So if you've got basically an agreement on one contract, you're going to be able to get another vendor through on a very similar contract pretty quickly. So it's huge.
So what do you think is driving this trend towards getting it from a marketplace versus maybe more traditional, go speak to your IT reseller, get your software that way?
It's got to be ease of use. It is just
okay,
there.
Yeah.
If you, at the touch of a button, you can see 5,000, 10,000 vendors. It's there. 2 clicks, you've ordered it. As you've said, it's the one process. It's the one contract. Don't need to go to legal. It's the one procurement. You go in, search for the vendor. Could be Checkpoint, Darktrace, Veeam, whoever. Click order. How many do you need? Done. Contract pops up. Accept it, and you're aware.
I mean, we talked before about kind of, people are using that as a way of procuring software as a service solutions, but it isn't just those, is it? I think you made some good examples here of actually you can look at most of the well-known vendors that you'll come across in the non-online marketplace. And I don't mean, Del Boy and a Barra, one for the kids there at Del Boy. But it's any of these things. I mean, you mentioned Veeam, for example, in there, actually that I can go to the Azure Marketplace or the AWS Marketplace, type Veeam in, and out of there will come, you can buy a Veeam solution. And to be fair, you don't actually even have to deploy that solution inside of, in Microsoft's case, inside of Azure. You can actually just purchase it from there, put it in your own data center. It's just truly a different way of procuring technology. I mean, is that, that's correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely spot on, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even just a procurement cycle.
Okay.
I know we've done our jobs already.
There's not much more to say. But it's an important point as well, because I know you asked about, you almost compared it from buying from an IT reseller to going through the Azure Marketplace. This is absolutely not taking the IT reseller out of it. And I don't know if you meant that, but I just want to really clarify that.
No. I'm just keen to understand the change in the trend, really.
Yeah.
That's all. It's almost like the Uber approach versus phoning up for a taxi kind of thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Although I think importantly, before all IT resellers start sending us hate comments, this next bit's important.
It is, no, massively, because I suppose the IT reseller, the MSP, whatever we're saying there, they are the glue between the ISV and the customer in a lot of cases. They're going to be there to, talk to the customer through these solutions.
Yeah.
Sort out all those contracts for them and get that through to them, basically. So yeah,
because it's still just a way of procuring. It's not automatically deploying this kind of stuff. I mean, while there might be templates and ways of deploying, so you could take a Veeam, for example, and say, "Well, build me a Veeam server as part of that procurement." But there's still a whole bunch of stuff that you would need to do and that you might want to partner for.
Yeah, and also the fact that you can buy it easily and within 2 minutes doesn't mean you're buying the right thing. No. The fact that you can do that, and that's where the value from IT providers such as ourselves comes in. We spend a lot of time validating the customer configuration to make sure that it is right for them. That doesn't go away with that. It makes it carries the same importance to make sure that you are procuring the correct product for what it is that you need to do, and that it is deployed correctly and that it is managed correctly as well from a cost perspective.
Probably makes it more important because you've opened the end user up to 10,000 vendors at a click, and they might go click crazy and just order whatever they want. So your advice becomes even more important.
Yeah. And what should people be concerned about with using these marketplaces? I think that you've just touched on it a little bit there. Be careful because you can deploy quickly. But
yeah, I guess to expand on that, there are ways to stop that potentially, but yes, you are opening. Anyone who's got access to these Azure environments within reason can spin something up. They may not be the right people. I mean, they might order something because they need it there and then, but then they might just go and start ordering other things as well, and before you know it, the Azure invoice has doubled. So you've got that the ease of use is good and bad. I guess is there the miscommunication between the people in the Azure environment ordering everything and finance who maybe haven't signed off or were not expecting this new invoice, this new product to turn up as well. So there's maybe internal conflict, but I guess costs could spiral if not managed correctly.
Yeah.
I think that's I think some really interesting points in there, and and I suppose that kind of idea of controlling that, so I suppose if somebody wants to adopt this kind of route, is there some tips that you could give them on? To make sure that we do keep a level of control. Some tips you could give them in terms of the things they should think about and plan for if they're going to look at this as it's probably not the way they'll purchase everything, but could be a way of purchasing quite a lot of things. So is there any tips that you would give them in terms of the things they should think about as they set this up, maybe processes they might want to put in place?
I think that any customer needs to work with their IT provider, because just because it's in the Azure Marketplace and it's easy to order, it might not be the most cost-effective route for a start. So you've got the ease of use, or ease of ordering versus cost. So obviously working with the IT partner that has access to the whole channel, that is definitely something to look at. And maybe to mitigate the spiraling bill cost, look at the vendors you're already purchasing. So instead of using it for this new thing at first, because you can, as I go click crazy, look at what you've currently got and maybe do a cost analysis of that. If you're sold on the Azure Marketplace, then look into the right sort of permissions, i.e. only letting certain people see certain subscriptions or certain products, or create your own marketplace. As someone in IT can create a list of vendors that you're okay to buy, and therefore they'll only see that.
See, this comes back to one of my favorite topics, identity.
It does.
And Azure groups. So we can manage that if it's an Azure environment, right? To say procurement team can order specific products.
Yep.
You might vet the products beforehand and say they can order it, or you might say the IT team can order these types of licenses because that's what they need to be able to procure on a regular basis to service the users. So coming back to my favorite topic here, episode 50, identity.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Yeah.
It'll be your new favourite episode going forward.
Yeah.
Forgetting that beyond firewall nonsense.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. So I mean, maybe as a way of summing up for people then. So Yeah, we've talked about some of the things they should consider. So what are the benefits? So why should be somebody going, well, I've got a channel, I've got a way I normally buy this kind of thing. What are some of the benefits then that people should consider? In summary, I know we've talked about some of this as we've gone along, but if there's a couple of things that if somebody said to you, oh, should this be something I'm doing? What would be a couple of things that you'd point them at and say, this is definitely why it's worth considering?
Again, it does depend on who you're talking to, if you're a seller or a buyer, but let's just assume we're focusing on the buy here. Obviously, the procurement angle we've covered. They did do some analysis on this, and you're looking at 50% reduction in time in procurement from those contracts.
Good, yeah.
Again, from a financial point of view as well, in terms of reduction in time. So this is invoice handling, billing errors. We've all been there with that sort of thing. You're looking at about a 30% reduction in time for that, which is huge. The other thing to point out, and cover this quickly because I know it's not everybody, but if you have got an Azure commitment with Microsoft, a Mac commitment, then if you purchase these SaaS products through the Azure Marketplace, they will be billed on your Azure consumption and they will decrement against that Mac. Because as we know, if you don't hit that Mac that you've agreed with Microsoft, you will lose that money.
Yeah.
So if we can help them get there, that's another great reason to use it. Operational control as well. I know we've covered the RBAC, the identity features, but with more traditional methods, there isn't that all-encompassing ability to control what people can see. So that is a benefit, and a huge benefit of that.
Is there anything, Nathan, you'd add to kind of build on that?
I think that's absolutely spot on. The other thing, the marketplace is quite new. We've mentioned that the numbers are quite alarming, but a lot of vendors are looking to get on board for this, and they are looking to offer free trials and things like that as well. So on the back of everything you said, the ability to get a free trial and just click and it's there, that's probably something that people should be leveraging as well.
Because a lot of cost in proof of concept, massively.
Yeah.
So if you just get a trial in there, click, delivered, see how it works. That again, more reduced cost.
Work out if it's going to work for you quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And maybe, I suppose maybe as an opposite question to that, is there anything is there any kind of scenarios where you might advise somebody that Marketplace perhaps isn't the best place for them? I mean, one of the things that we've touched on a couple of times is maybe that kind of lack of experience internally to be able to evaluate the thing that you might buy from a marketplace. But is there any reason that you might not go down that route?
I think you touched on it with the commercial angle, because it might not be the most cost-effective area for them to buy. Mm-hmm. Now, there'll be less of that the larger the organisation gets, because if obviously my percentages I quoted earlier around time savings, that's going to be big in terms of cost savings. Yeah. So it's going to be hard for that to kind of come in there. But certainly among, I'd probably say, SME customers, maybe there might be a better way to purchase it from a cost point of view.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it does. I like good tips.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so I think that we've covered that quite well there. I think we have to mention it's open to anyone that's got Azure now.
That's it.
They can go in, they'll see the bar across the top, search. Yeah. That's searching across the entire marketplace as well as resources that they've already deployed within their estate.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think it's it's not the kind of area that often we talk about, and it was interesting kind of speaking with you guys ahead of recording this, that actually that as a valid route to purchase is not really something that I've thought about, other than I want to try a thing out, so maybe I'll find it in the marketplace and see whether I can do it. And sometimes it is a good way to do a little bit of price market testing to go, well, actually, how much can I get on the marketplace? How much is this reseller wanting to charge me? So, but it's a really interesting area. So thanks for sharing your insights. It's been really useful. Yeah, Anthony, Nathan, thanks very much. It's been great to have you on. Stringy, as ever, love doing it with you. So we hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you've not yet subscribed, there's a subscribe button just below. Just hit that button down there. If you're watching on YouTube, we're available everywhere where you get your podcasts. Good homes of podcasts, bad homes of podcasts, we're in them all. Subscribe. We'll catch you next week.